Lady Lollipop by Dick King Smith, Chapter 4. Busy. Understand? One thing you could say for certain about that spoiled child Princess Penelope. She didn't mess around. Hardly had the grooms and the stable lads begun work in the royal mews next morning than the princess appeared, making for the stall in which her pig was kept. Johnny Skinner had just returned from the royal kitchens with a bucket full of tasty pig swill, and Lollipop was tucking in snout deep in the trough. "Johnny," said the princess, "you think yourself a brilliant pig trainer, don't you? You could train Lollipop to do anything, I suppose." "Well, I don't know about that, miss," said Johnny. "I could train her to do most things, I suppose." "But could you train her not to do some things?" "How do you mean, miss?" "Could you train her not to do things in the house? Could you house train her?" "Well, she's never lived in a house." "But she's going to live in one now," said the princess. "In fact, she's going to live in the palace. My pig is. So, could you palace train her?" For a moment Johnny did not answer. He stood scratching his head and wondering if it would be possible. Princess Penelope stamped her foot. "Well," she said, "could you or couldn't you?" With a pig as intelligent as Lollipop, Johnny thought, "I reckon I could." "I reckon I could, miss," he said, "but she'll have to stay in the stall for a while yet. And then if she makes any mistakes, it won't matter. It'll take a bit of time." "Well, don't waste any then," said the princess sharply. "Get on with it." And off she went. Thoughtfully, Johnny Skinner scratched Lollipop's bristly back, a back that seemed already to be getting plumper than it had been. "What d'ye think, old girl?" he said to her as she licked the last of her breakfast from her trough. "Do you think you could learn to be palace trained?" Lollipop grunted. To Johnny's ears, Lollipop had a whole vocabulary of different grunts. That all, he was sure, meant different things, like "scratch my back," or "rub my ears," or mostly "I'm hungry." But there were two distinct grunts that Johnny knew meant yes or no. Yes was a quick, slightly high-pitched grunt. No was a deeper grunt, more long drawn out. Now, in answer to Johnny's question, Lollipop clearly gave the yes grunt. "Right," said Johnny. "Then we'll give it a try. But if you're going to finish up palace trained, you'll have to begin by becoming stall trained." And he tied the old bit of rope around the pigs' necks and opened the door into the yard outside. First, Johnny thought, I must teach her a new word, a command that she will learn to understand, just as she does with sit or down. He looked at Lollipop and saw that she was gazing up at him with bright, intelligent eyes, just as though she were aware of the thoughts that were going through his head, and suddenly he knew the word he was going to use. He took the rope off her neck, pointed to a patch of grass on the far side of the yard, and said to the pig, "Busy." Lollipop looked up at him again, then looked across the yard. "Busy," said Johnny again. "Understand?" And Lollipop gave the quick, high-pitched grunt, trotted over to the patch of grass, and did everything that Johnny wanted her to do.